What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to JohnnyKpicks. And in this video, I'm going to go over my full card, picks and predictions for UFC Columbus. So I am super pumped for this one because I will be attending this event, and I think this fight card is stacked from top to bottom again, just like last week. But first things first, please hit that like button, make friends with that subscribe button, and don't forget to click that little bell so you get notifications for any new videos or live streams that I post. So UFC London happened last night. And wow. From top to bottom, this card was amazing. I think there was 9 out of 12 finishes in all the fights. And I even think they gave out 9 performance bonuses too. So that's really good by the UFC. I ended up going 10-2 on my picks. And I won plus 11.56 units profit. So out of the bunch, my favorite performances were Craig's submission win over Krylov, Toporia's comeback win versus Herbert, and obviously McCann's spinning elbow knockout. As I said in my last video, I just really thought Craig just needed to get the fight to the mat one way or another, and once that happened, I really thought he was going to get a submission. It's exactly what happened. I don't even know what happened in the first 5 seconds where he just felt, maybe he pulled guard right away, and he was on the mat, and I was very happy about that. So I had a bet with Craig's submission win, so can't complain one bit. And with Topuria, I'm sure a lot of people were scared at first, like me, but he came out in the second round and he was a different fighter. He was more focused, he knew what he had to do, and he went right after Herbert and got him knocked out even before he hit the mat. And I don't care what anyone says about Topuria, he's gonna be a future featherweight champion, so if anyone's selling stock on him, I'll buy. And with McCann's spinning knockout, yeah, that's probably gonna be contender for the best knockout of the year. I know there's already been maybe 1 or 2 other ones, but this one, it's going to be up there for sure. She perfectly timed the elbow in that 3rd round, and she sent Carolina to the shadow realm because that was nasty. Alright, so let's get to my picks and predictions for UFC Columbus. First fight we have is Luis Saldana versus Bruno Souza. Saldana is 15-7, 31 years old, 5'11" with a 73-inch reach, and Souza is 10-2, 26 years old, 5'10" with a 70-inch reach. So to start the night off, this is going to be a tough fight to predict, and I was going back and forth with my pick, but I ended up deciding Saldana's going to win. So both guys are mainly strikers, and they're both coming off losses in their last fight. But Saldana's going to have the 3-inch reach advantage, and he does throw more volume than Souza. And in a really close fight, you got to look at these intangibles like that. It's those little things that are going to play big parts in this fight. I do think Saldana's going to be able to outstrike Souza in the end. So with my pick, I'm going to say Saldana wins a very close decision, 29-28. Next fight we have is Askarov Khizriev versus Denis Tiuluilin. Khizriev is 13-0, 31 years old, 5'9" with a 74-inch reach. And Tiuluilin is 10-5, 33 years old, 6'1", and I'm not sure his reach. So in this fight, I'm going to pick Khizriev to win this one. Both guys are making their UFC debuts, and let's make no mistake about it, Khizriev is going to be the better fighter in this matchup. He has good striking, and he has very good wrestling and grappling with good submissions. Denis is a good striker though, and he has a lot of knockouts on his record, but I think once this fight gets to the mat, Denis is going to be like a fish out of water, and I think Khizriev is going to basically get the finish. It's going to be either a submission or a knockout, and I do think that's the clear path to victory for him. So with my pick, I'm going to pick Khizriev to win this one by submission in the 1st round. Moving on up the card, we have David Dvorak versus Matheus Nicolau. Dvorak is 20-3, 29 years old, 5'5" with a 68-inch reach. And Nicolau is 17-2-1, 29 years old, 5'6" with a 66-inch reach. So this is going to be the first fight of the night that I'm really excited to see. And I'm going to go with Dvorak to win this one. So both guys are very well-rounded. I would give Dvorak the slight striking edge and Nicolau the slight grappling and wrestling edge. But if by some chance Nicolau does get the fight to the mat, Dvorak does have good submissions from his back, and he also has good submissions if he's on top as well. And another thing to note too is Dvorak does throw a little bit more volume, and I think he does have a little bit more power too. I do think this fight's going to go to the judges' scorecards, but like I said, it's going to be really close, but I do think Dvorak's going to be more active on his feet. He's going to throw more volume, land the cleaner shots, and win a very close decision. So with my pick, I'm going to say Dvorak wins by decision. Moving on up the card, Batgirl Danaa versus Chris Gutierrez. Danaa is 12-2, 32 years old, 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. And Gutierrez is 17-3-2, 30 years old, 5'9" with a 67-inch reach. So here's another very close fight that I'm looking forward to. And with my pick, I'm going to say Danaa wins this one. Danaa is a really good striker. He has lightning fast punches and he has knockout power. And Gutierrez is a very good striker as well. He has really good leg kicks, but he is taking this fight on short notice, and that's something to look out for. Danaa is the more dangerous fighter in this matchup, I think. I think he has the power edge, like I said. Gutierrez isn't much of a finisher. He does go to decision a lot of times. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this fight gets to the third round and whoever cardio is going to be there is going to be the fighter that wins this fight. But like I said, Danaa is dangerous. He can end this fight in the first or second round too. So I just like him a little bit better in this fight. I think he's going to land the cleaner strikes and the more powerful ones too. So with my pick, I'm going to say Danaa wins a close decision again, 29-28. Next fight we have is Sarah McCann versus Carol Rosa. McCann is 12-6, 41 years old, 5'6" with a 66-inch reach. And Rosa is 15-3, 27 years old, 5'5" with a 67.5-inch reach. So with my pick in this fight, I'm going to pick Rosa to win. So this is a classic wrestler versus striker showdown here. McCann's going to have the wrestling grappling edge, and Rosa's definitely going to be the better striker. But Rosa does have good grappling herself, but she's mainly a striker. And another thing to note too is Rosa does have really good takedown defense, which is at 91%. So McCann's probably going to come in here and try to shoot for takedowns, and I don't think she's going to have a lot of success. And I'll be honest, I just can't back McCann here being 41 years old, relying on her wrestling to win this, and she only probably has about 1.5 rounds of cardio too. So I like Rosa here. I think this is a very good matchup for her. I do think she's going to be able to outstrike McCann on the feet and also not get taken down. So with my pick, I'm going to say Rosa wins by decision. Next fight we have is Mark Diakiese versus Vyacheslav Borshchev. Diakiese is 14-5, 29 years old, 5'10" with a 73-inch reach. And Borshchev is 6-1, 30 years old, 5'11" with a 69-inch reach. So this is going to be a good fight as well, and I'm going to pick Borshchev to win this one. So both guys have really good striking. I would give Borshchev the striking edge, but Diakiese does have good wrestling and he can take down his opponents. Borshchev doesn't have the greatest takedown defense, but he does have a pretty good get-up game. He doesn't accept being on the mat, so he does always try to get up. And I know Diakiese is a tough guy. I don't think he's ever been knocked out in his career. But Borshchev is on a different level of striking. He has really crisp boxing. He has good kicks. He throws very good combos with great power. So I do think Borshchev's going to eventually get a knockout later in the fight. And I know it's not going to probably look pretty again for Borshchev, but I do think he's going to be able to get the knockout here. So with my pick, I'm going to say that Borshchev gets a knockout in the second round. Moving on up the card, we have Magny versus Max Griffin. Magny is 25-8, 34 years old, 6'3" with an 80-inch reach. And Griffin is 18-8, 36 years old, 5'11" with a 76-inch reach. So in this fight, I'm going to pick Magny to win. So both guys are pretty well-rounded fighters, but I'm going to give Magny the edge in every category. I just think he's one step above Griffin. And not to mention, Magny is going to be the bigger fighter with a 4-inch height and reach advantage. And another little red flag for me is Griffin is a little hittable, averaging about 4 strikes absorbed per minute compared to Magny's 2 strikes absorbed per minute. But I see this fight mainly playing out on its feet. I don't think anyone's going to really go for takedowns unless they're either gassed out or they're trying to win a round. And like I said, if this fight does get to the mat, I'm okay with Magny being there. I like his grappling. He's good on the feet as well. I don't see a finish happening here. I do think it's going to go to the judges' scorecards. So with my pick, I'm going to say Magny wins by decision. Next fight we have is Jennifer Maia versus Manon Fiorot. Maia is 19-8-1, 33 years old, 5'4" with a 64-inch reach. And Fiorot is 8-1, 32 years old, 5'7" with a 66-inch reach. Okay, so this is one of my most confident picks of the night, and I'm going to pick Fiorot to win this one. I'll be honest, I'm really high on Fiorot. I think she is a potential contender in the flyweight division. She has really good striking, she throws a lot of volume, and she always pushes forward and keeps her opponents on their back foot. But Maia is no slouch. She's a veteran of the UFC. She has really good grappling. Her striking is pretty good as well. But honestly, the only way I can see Maia winning this fight is if she does take the fight to the mat or keep her pushed up against the cage. But I just think Fiorot is going to be too much for Maia. I think her volume is going to overwhelm her, and she's going to be able to stuff the takedowns if there's any. Again, I don't think there's going to be a finish because both fighters are really tough. So with my pick, I'm going to say Fiorot wins by a decision. Next fight we have is Alexei Oleinik versus Ilir Latifi. Oleinik is 59-16-1, 44 years old, 6'2" with an 80-inch reach. And Latifi is 15-8, 38 years old, 5'10" with a 75-inch reach. So this is a very interesting fight here, actually. It's a wrestler versus grappler. And you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to say Oleinik's going to win this fight. So let's connect the dots here. Latifi's a wrestler. He wants to get this fight to the mat. Oleinik is a grappler, and he wants to get this fight to the mat. And mind you, he has really good submissions. So again, if this fight gets to the mat, I think Oleinik's going to be able to wrap up the submission fairly easily. But if this fight plays out on the feet, Latifi does have some power in his hands, but his striking isn't very technical, so I do think Oleinik's going to be able to survive on the feet. But the way I see this fight playing out is I do think one way or another this fight's getting to the mat, just like the Paul Craig-Krylov fight, and Oleinik is going to be able to wrap up a submission. So with my pick, I'm going to say Oleinik wins by submission in the first round. Next fight we have is Matt Brown versus Bryan Barberena. Brown is 23-18, 41 years old, 6 foot with a 76-inch reach. And Barberena is 16-8, 32 years old, 6 foot with a 72-inch reach. So this is another close fight, but I'm going to go with Brown to win this one. Both guys are mainly strikers, but I will give Brown the edge in the wrestling grappling department. Barberena does like to push the pace a little bit. He does like to push forward and throw a lot of volume. But as of late, he has been slowing down in his fights. And also, if Brown does want to take this fight to the mat, I think he can easily take down Barberena. And another little red flag for me for Barberena, his durability has taken a hit, I think. I know he's been in a lot of wars, and he is very hittable, so I'm a little worried about his chin a bit. But the way I see this fight playing out, I think it's going to play out on its feet, and Brown's going to mix in some takedowns here and there to maybe win a round or two. And once the third round hits, I can see Brown either getting a late finish or winning by decision. So with my pick though, I'm going to say Brown wins by a 29-28 decision. Moving on up the card, we have Askarov versus Kai Kara-France. Askarov is 14-0-1, 29 years old, 5'6" with a 67-inch reach. And Kara-France is 23-9, 29 years old, 5'4" with a 65.5-inch reach. So very fun fight here, and although I really like Kara-France as a fighter, I gotta pick Askarov to win this fight. So Askarov is very well rounded, but his bread and butter is definitely his wrestling and grappling. And I really do think he's gonna go for takedowns early in this fight. But Kai Kara-France, he's a very good striker himself. He has good power in his hands. He has pretty good takedown defense as well. But I just think Askarov's going to keep pushing for that takedown, and I think eventually he's going to be able to get it and stay on top for most of the fight. And I do think at one point he's going to be able to wrap up a submission maybe later in the fight. So with my pick, I'm going to say Askarov wins by a third round submission. Alright, co-main event time here. We have Joanne Wood versus Alexa Grasso. Wood is 15-7, 36 years old, 5'6" with a 65.5-inch reach, and Grasso is 13-3, 28 years old, 5'5" with a 66-inch reach. So again, I know I've been saying this the whole video, but I think this is going to be a very good fight as well, and I'm going to pick Grasso to win this one. So both fighters are very good strikers. Wood's more of a kickboxing type that's good in the clinch, and Grasso's more of a boxer who has really quick hands. But I do favor Grasso's striking a little bit more. I just think her boxing is going to be too quick. She has really quick strikes, and she does throw a lot of good combinations as well. But Wood does like to throw a lot of volume. She's really good in the clinch, like I said. She has very good knees from the clinch. But the thing about Wood, though, she is very hittable as well. And I think that's going to play a big part in this fight. I can see it being close in the early rounds, but I think as the fight does go on, I think Grasso is going to take over because Wood does tend to slow down a bit. And I don't think anyone's going to be able to knock anyone out here. So with my pick, I'm going to say Grasso wins a 29-28 decision. Main event time, we have Curtis Blaydes versus Chris Daukaus. Blaydes is 15-3, 31 years old, 6'4", with an 80-inch reach. And Daukaus is 12-4, 32 years old, 6'3", with a 76-inch reach. Alright, in this main event fight, I'm going to pick Blaydes to win. So this is the wrestler versus striker showdown here. And honestly, I just can't back Daukaus here, especially after a brutal KO loss 2 months ago when Lewis knocked him out. Daukaus will definitely have the speed advantage on the feet, but he's going to be the much smaller fighter, and I think Blaydes is going to be able to take down Daukaus whenever he wants. Blaydes does have solid striking, and he has a good jab, but like I said, I think the easiest path to victory for Blaydes here is to take him down to the mat and either work for a submission or ground and pound him. So with my pick, I'm going to say Blaydes gets the job done in the second round with a ground and pound knockout. Alright guys, so those are my picks and predictions for UFC Columbus. Thank you everybody for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button on your way out. I hope everybody enjoys the fights this weekend. I know I will. And until next time, happy fight night.